Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves, a show created by sports journalism students at the University of South Wales. I'm your host, Freddie Owers, and on today's show, I'll be talking you through sports stories from around South Wales. You'll be hearing from local football and rugby coaches, as well as a second year on the course. This show will also have a live guest appearance and a light-hearted entertainment piece to conclude the programme. But first, here are some sports headlines. Wales made history on Tuesday night by securing qualification to the 2025 UEFA Women's Euros after beating the Republic of Ireland 2-1 in Dublin. This is the first time that the Welsh have ever reached a major women's international tournament. In Championship news, Cardiff City face Watford at home on Sunday. The Bluebirds will hope to begin rescuing their season as they are 2 points clear of the relegation zone. However, it will be a tall task as they play a Watford side that sits 6th with aspirations of gaining promotion. Both teams go into this game off the back of a draw. Meanwhile, fellow Welsh side Swansea City travel to England to take on Luton Town on Saturday. Swansea go into the game sitting 13th in the table, having drawn 2-2 against Portsmouth, while Luton, currently 19th, go into the game following 2 defeats in a row. In the Cardiff Combination Football League, both Avontaff and Llanedin found out this week that they face a £400 fine after a fight broke out between the players during their game. This led to the match being abandoned. The instance comes off the back of members of the Cardiff Referee Society withdrawing their services on the weekend of November the 2nd due to multiple occasions of violence at local matches in October. Finally, darts fans across South Wales, save this date for your calendars. Next year, on the 25th of March, Premier League darts is coming to the Utility Arena in Cardiff. On our first segment of today's show, our reporter Reuel Roach visited the USW Sports Park to sit down with rugby coach and sports performance lecturer Dean Parsons to discuss the importance of coaching and developing youth.
Reuel Roach here, and I'm at the Forest Sports Park to interview sports performance lecturer and rugby coach Dean Parsons.
I've been working at USW for unofficially 18 years, officially 15 years now.
To you, what makes a good coach?
To me, I think it's almost tantamount to teaching, people developing. It's much wider than just the balls, the cones, the kit. I think you have to have an empathy for people and the diverse backgrounds of people. I think you have to understand pedagogy and andragogy, the teaching and learning environments that you create, the learning environments for players or students to grow into, I think is important. So my teaching qualifications and my coaching qualifications are all pretty much inextricably linked. What it means to me about coaching is it's the coherent whole. It's not just holistically, it's holistic. It's not just saying, I've got a few good drills and I'm going to go out and I'm going to deliver this and the kids will have fun with this, or the adults will have fun with this. I think it's a much broader picture. I think you're developing environments, learning environments. They have to be fun. You have to be quite creative. You have to be a very good organizer and planner, I think. And you have to understand the various levels of where the entry point is in terms of the different levels where you're actually coaching. I think that's very important. Quite often you see people who are coaching at various levels and they do the same thing in different environments, expecting the same outcomes. And that invariably doesn't work. So I see coaching as much more of a holistic approach with many, many facets required to make you effective. Effective coaches and effective teachers and effective people developers can be highly influential. It goes the same for people who cling on to a few little bits that don't have an incredible, grounded, holistic approach to it, that have partial knowledge, can be equally as dangerous in the environment. So I think if you, as I said to you earlier on, I think if you understand pedagogy and you understand andragogy, the learning environments for young people through to adult learning and education and training, I think if you understand those things and you understand your audience, I think you can become highly effective if you hone your own skills over time. But I am working also with an under 15s group for Cardiff Rugby. It's an emerging player pathway. Now that pathway, there are 50 boys, youngsters, secondary age school children, who've been identified by this school of having a potential skill set and a potential player of the future. Now that's a completely different environment. Those children are there for the right reasons to improve and give themselves a chance in the game. They've been identified they've been talent ID'd. They've been brought in by their hub officers or their PE teachers and recommended. So this is like the best of the schools in the area, in the Pontypridd area, which is fabulous. 6 big schools in the area. And now when they turn up, they hang on your every word. Now you've got a chance to develop something meaningfully. And they do bring the learning into the next session. They do bring those things in. And as teachers, as coaches, as practitioners, as effective practitioners, we do our checks and balances. Have we got the learning from the last session? Do we really understand it? Is it coming from the players? Yes, we got that right, we can move on. Do we see it in practice? Yes, right, we can move on. So there's a complete contrast in grown adults in a HE environment that do it socially versus the guys, even at their tender age, that want to progress for the right reasons. They take a different learning. They're more attentive to the detail.
Thank you. That'll be all.
Reuel also caught up with second year Archie Tooth to discuss his second year on the course.
I'm here with second year BA Sports Journalism student Archie Tooth. Archie, you're on your second year. How are you finding the course this year?
This year, I'd say definitely a lot better than last year. I'd say a bit more responsibility, having to get the work placement, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, to be honest, and just getting out and building my contacts. That's the main thing, and I'm enjoying it.
What placement are you partaking?
So I'm currently at Barrytown United. It's going well. I've been going there most weekends and also looking to do some work for their development side as well.
What made you decide to take this course?
To be honest, I had a gap year. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I was just looking on UCAS and I found this, and it just seemed like something that lined up with me. I've always really liked sport, and I just thought reporting on it would be the next best way to get in to doing it, to be honest.
What has the transition between first year and second year student been like?
Like I mentioned earlier, obviously second year, you've got a bit more responsibility. So I'm enjoying doing the graphics and the more Photoshop stuff because they're just good skills, really good transferable skills. And just as I said before, the placement stuff is just good to get out there and do some real world reporting.
Do you have any aims for this year?
For this year, I'd say just to always keep doing work off my own back. I think that's the main thing. As long as I'm always keeping myself busy, I think that's the best way I'm going to learn and grow as a journalist.
Thank you.
Our live guest on today's show is Technical Officer in Media here at USW, Matthew Hunter. He joins us live in the studio now. So Matthew,
hello there.
Tell me a bit about what it's like being here on set at the Game of Two Halves.
It's an interesting one being in front of the camera because I'm usually helping all you guys, behind the cameras and in the gallery. It's been a great experience to see. Well, not experience, but it's been great to see you all kind of learn and develop. Because when we took over, from Chris, at first, the the improvement that you've had is massive, and that applies to everyone really. So really proud of you, and I hope it gives you good experience for potential job opportunities as well. Because I know the previous years enjoyed it more than they thought they would, and I think it gives something for people to think about as well. When they leave here.
Yeah, and tell me a bit about how us as students, from sort of an outside perspective, have been getting on, collaborating with each other to create this project.
Well, I have noticed. I mean, again, like throughout the weeks, you've got better and better at working with each other. I mean, I'm sure Julie can vouch for this. The kind of trajectory you've all been on whilst doing this.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Matt, for joining me in the studio. That's all we have time for today, unfortunately. Richard Cronin is a local football coach for AFC Llanedin. We managed to speak to him at Pontcanna Fields. Here are his thoughts on coaching and development at the grassroots level.
So I started coaching roughly over 3 years ago for under 15s and under 14s at the time, and now the men, so roughly 3 years.
In your opinion, what makes a good coach?
It's about developing the younger generation to thrive on stuff, and obviously just to win games. But obviously, the most important of it all is to make sure people are developing.
As well as developing players' skills, do you think it is important for coaches to help players develop and improve as people?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, on and off the pitch, it's better to obviously develop people overall and obviously go from there. But yeah, overall, you've got to develop on and off the pitch.
In your life, has there been any coaches that have had an impact on your life and helped shape who you are today?
Yeah, I've been at many clubs in the Welsh League, down to grassroots, from Cardiff City. And there's been a lot of coaches who have obviously helped me develop to where I am today.
Finally, in our light entertainment segment on today's show, we have some musical, dance and entertainment. With Christmas just around the corner, people in Cardiff seem to be full of Christmas spirit. This footage was captured by a student on the course at the St David's shopping centre in town. We do hope you enjoy. Well, as today's show nears its conclusion, make sure you don't miss our next episode at 3:15 p.m. Here's a look at what we have in store.
Hello, and let me introduce myself. My name is Jamie McCann, and I am a disabled squad player.
I've got moved on. Just in case.
The guy's out on the rugby, hurt his shoulder, so that was a hospital job. We can't transport.
That's all for this episode of A Game of Two Halves. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.